Okay, we're live. Okay, I'm live now. All right. And hold on a second, because now I gotta go and check over here for this thing. Over here. I thought it was supposed to go like that. And stream. So where's the page that I'm supposed to? I think that's what it just did. Oh, I know, I'm supposed to share now. Okay, alright, there. Right there, I'm supposed to share it over there. Okay, and then go like that and post. Israelie Genocide. Okay, give me 1 second here as I prepare to talk to you guys here and get this straight. Here, okay, now I'm gonna turn that on there so I can hear what's going on here. And then I go like that so I can see you guys over there. And then this thing should come on in a moment. Give me one more moment if you're here already, watching what's going on. Anyway, let's see now. All right, and then I press play there. All right, and then we turn that up like that. Okay, and we should be live here. Okay. No, why is that not coming live? There it goes. All right, there I go. All right. Oh, okay. It's kind of making a buzzing noise. But that's better. I can see myself and basically I can speak to you. Okay. First of all, I feel as if I've been hit over the head with this genocide. Okay, and since I'm forced to watch this on a daily basis, people getting murdered and bombed, and having to make a decision about whether this is a genocide or not. Well, as far as the SFI board is concerned, we're gonna skip the preliminaries and call it a genocide. Okay, because if it smells like a rat, it runs like a rat, it must be a rat. Anyway, so I think we can just skip to the topic here. Okay, clearly a genocide. We have 30,000 people murdered, and 8,000 that are missing underneath the rubble, presumed dead. Therefore, if we allow for this to continue, and of course, the court said it's plausible genocide, and they need to stop, but they're not going to order a ceasefire. And I would ask that we cease fire, at least so that we can come back to the table. Without conditions here. Because if you place conditions on either side, you're not going to get a ceasefire. Okay, and therefore the fellow there, Netanyahu, he's placing all kinds of conditions as he commits a genocide. Okay, so I'm going to come on and give you my two cents worth, because I've been forced to swallow 30,000 dead bodies, and it doesn't look like there's an end in sight. And you're preparing to attack the 1.5 million that you've ethnically cleansed into the corner of Rafah, and you've asked them to move again as you come in to look for the mouse that's running around. And I'm not buying it. Okay, and I believe that the Chinese delegate there, he's on the mark. And that's what I wanted to hear. The Palestinians have a right to defend themselves. And have a right to their security and their state, which you are taking, which is what I see when I look back at the map. I have a biblical Palestine back to 600 BCE, if not longer. And in 1900, from what I gather, you decided, or someone decided, that there was going to be a Zionist movement to colonially settle biblical Palestine. You knew that you were going to World War I, knew it was going to be that the Ottoman Empire was going to be a part of it, and therefore you went step by step to go to war. The Ottoman Empire was attacked and drawn in, or whatever the exact history. But from what I gather, you went step by step to taking Palestine with a mandate in 1920. That isn't worth the price of the paper that it's on. and continued by force with the Imperial Britain power to forcefully occupy Palestine, biblical Palestine, that had been there for 2,400 years, flourishing as a community and with ties and trade and families and people. And let's take it from them. And you colonized Palestine from 1895 to the day 1948, when you raised a Israeli flag and said it was an Israeli state. Which to me, when we look back at the history of the World League nations, the nations of World League, that's the British, the French, the United States, and the Allied powers in World War I, and basically you are giving yourself legal justification for the arbitrary settlement of colonial settlement of biblical Palestine, which in history, when we look back to 600 BCE to 1600 or 2600 BCE, the Israelis, who were enslaved in Egypt, left and went over to Palestine. And they're claiming that God has given them that. The indigenous people of Palestine, who you are genocidally killing, did not agree. And they were exiled from Palestine. Sure, after many wars and many things. All of this stuff back in biblical times. But for 2,400 years after that, it's Palestine. Okay, and now you've decided and taken it upon yourselves that it's okay to take someone's country from them. by colonially settling them and what looks to be an apartheid state. And basically, it began in 1948 with a ethnic cleansing and genocide of the Palestinian people. Then you armed the Israeli government, who with your backing has brought us to this point after several wars and a continual conflict for 70 years, whereby the Israelis have taken the Golan Heights, which clearly does not belong to them, also. And you have the Russians over there now in Syria who just kicked you out of Syria. And they're prepared along the line of the Golan Heights to make sure that you, the Israeli, go no further. And as the United States exits Syria, after leveling it and killing hundreds of thousands of people, we gather, but we won't go there right now. We'll stick to the point of Israel. And the genocide they're committing. And now you want a ceasefire and put things back so that it appeases you. And you can continue with your apartheid state, basically racist and segregative and excluding with your walls and your checkpoints. Much like the occupation of Germany by the four powers, which after World War II, you seem to leave the occupied lands. But when it comes to Palestine, where you have this deceitful and just lying, forceful colonial settlement, where you're occupying their lands, you insist that it's the Israelis. Okay, we can clearly say that it is not. And we can talk about it for the next 2,000 years, if you want. I highly doubt that your security is going to be very secure in Israel, and I don't think it's going to be there very soon, whether you like it or not. That doesn't belong to Israel. So I also hear the point about self-determination. After the fact that you've occupied their land and their state. You're talking about a two-state solution. And that they have a self-determination. And even then, I want to believe you. That you're going to try to give them a two-state solution. But that's been what you've been saying since the occupation in 1948. And all that it's done is allowed for an apartheid state to flourish. A racist state. One where there's one group superior to the other. And here you have the result. And the result is a genocide where 38,000 people have been killed, and 12,000 of them are little children. The 70% are women and children. You're targeting their reproduction. You're killing just as many people each day as are born each day, if not more. That's genocidal. I don't need anything more. You're trying to destroy this group and take its lands. And the United States seem to be supporting this, which is who I want to have a conversation with. Since you seem to be so close to me and are all over my telephone, first of all, you have laws against a genocide. You have declared yourself that a genocide is illegal. And that you cannot partake in it. But here you are funding it and refusing to allow for a ceasefire by vetoing every ceasefire resolution. Because you want to insist that they don't have a right to defend themselves when it is perfectly clear, as the Chinese representative just told you, They have every right in the world to defend themselves. Especially when you're killing them and taking their homes. What the hell would you do if that's what they were doing to you? So, to tell us that it's Hamas's fault, I'm just not buying it. I'm not in a vacuum with you. I'm stepping out of the vacuum. I'm looking at the history, and it's you doing the pushing here. Okay? So, I'm not going to sit here and go, I can't talk about it either. Like hell, I can't talk about it. The hell are you going to do about it? Come and kill me. Go ahead. Ring it. Anyway, this is ridiculous. I agree with what the man is saying, that they have every right to self-determination. And they have every right to defend themselves. And they've declared that they are that they have this right. They themselves. And they've declared that they have a right to a state, and 130 countries recognize them. In other words, we're now going back to the thing, your idea of a two-state solution, which you continue to say that you're going to do. But nothing ever gets done, and it's always blocked by you and Israel. And here we are, genocidally killing them. And you don't want a ceasefire. And of course, this is all brought up in the political year with the Republicans running over there. Which are no better, if not worse, of two evils. But let's stick to the point. And the point is that this apartheid state cannot continue. Therefore, you're going to have to find some solution. Okay, or else we're going to have a problem. And we have a problem right now. You know, it's clear. Okay. And these Republicans, you can tell them that they're going to sit down for about 8 years more. They're not even close to getting back. after that. Okay, so anyway, we're not going to get off the subject here. Something's got to give here. First of all, we need to ceasefire. Okay, without a ceasefire, you're not going to get anywhere, and we don't need a temporary ceasefire. And these people also, I want to mention, are starving. Okay, you're starving them. Also, let me bring that point up. You've got trucks sitting for miles outside that can't deliver food. To them. Little kids. 1 million of them are little kids. Where do you get off here? So, after sitting here and listening to this for the last 120 days, okay, and I got to hand it to you guys, getting this over to the ICJ and at least getting them to make some kind of decision. However, I don't think that this should take this long to go. What we are watching is a textbook genocide. Nor should we need to have the court tell us it's a textbook genocide. Okay, I'm going to say it's a textbook genocide. And everybody in this planet is going, it's a textbook genocide. Except those that feel that the Israelis are right. Which aren't very many. Not even the Jewish community feels that the Israeli regime is right. They feel they're wrong. It's the other thing. They're trying to tell us that Judaism is not this Zionism. And they were there in 1948 to tell you that they did not want this. But your Zionist movement went right ahead with it. And you are right here now. And we have everything documented. And we can see, and people are listening, and more than half this planet have told you to cease fire. There's protests all over the world telling you to cease fire. And what we have enlightened of all of this is that this Israeli state is an apartheid, the same that we've been fighting with South Africa since 1980. That whole entire fight, and now this is the same thing, if not worse. You have the South African representative telling you that today. I don't need to go over it. And that isn't going to go on. We fought very hard to go apartheid is wrong. So we need to continue with the ICJ about this apartheid state after it makes its decision. Someone needs to sue there. That Israel is an apartheid state, and the court needs to make a decision about that as well. So that we don't have to go 4 years to get a decision about that. Because you're going to try to go, it isn't in a minute. So someone needs to file right now and go, South Africa versus Israel, number 2, about apartheid. And make a decision. There as well. Israel is committing a genocide, committed a genocide, and did do a genocide, and it is an apartheid state. In case number 2. So that we're not sitting there going, oh, well, everything is all done. Great, we know we have a genocide, but you're still sitting there with an apartheid state. And then going, who's to say it's an apartheid state? The ICJ. And you need to follow through. With an additional case on Israel as an apartheid state. So that we never forget. And that if for some reason you continue with this, it's been in court and that there's a decision made and it's sitting on record that it is an apartheid state. Not who thinks it is or it isn't. There has been a decision made about its being an apartheid state. As well as a genocide. I'm going to leave you with that right there and right now, because that's what I see, that there's a confusion. You got them going, well, maybe it is or it isn't a genocide. while you're going back to the apartheid state. We're not going to allow it.